So welcome back, everybody. 'Tis the season for severe weather, and we've just got a heck of a warning for a major storm coming in this weekend, and we need to protect our solar panels and our backup and main power equipment. All right, y'all, so Tiffany and I are in storm prep mode. She's gathering up all the loose stuff that can blow around the house. We're buttoning up everything, getting the storm shelter ready. But one thing I really want to protect is all these solar panels that I have here and over there. We run our shop completely off grid, plus this is part of our emergency backup system for power outages. And they're calling for severe frontline winds in this storm system that's moving across. They're calling for hail, rain, everything else. So I'm concerned about stuff blowing into this and mainly the hail damage. So whenever I built this solar array right here, I designed it so we could actually protect it, mainly for hurricanes, but also in events that we get noticed for like this. All right, y'all, so if you watched me build this array, you've seen that I put a wooden lip up top and down bottom. That's so we can put plywood over this. It's about the best thing I can think of for quick, fast, and in a hurry. So I just got back from the store, picked up a bunch of 1/2-inch plywood. Surprisingly, prices aren't bad right now in lumber. So this was more affordable than I was thinking. About the cost of 3 panels is what all this cost me, including a 5-pound box of screws to protect this. That seems like a bargain. That way we can just pop these off after the storm tomorrow, go back to making power. They're talking such high winds and all, we're expecting delayed power outages. We had a frontline windstorm come through last year like this, and we were without power for 3 days. So we want to be able to get this back up and running quick, fast, and in a hurry with 0 damage. So since we're gonna get such high winds, I don't want to just lay my plywood up here and screw into this lip on the bottom, which that's what it's for, and up top, because then, well, we'd wind up with the plywood flopping in the middle, damaging my solar panels. So I just picked up some 2x4s. We're gonna put some blocking in here all the way down, and then we'll actually screw into that. That'll keep our plywood from flopping and damaging our panels. And this solar array over here, a lot of y'all watched me build that. I designed it to where it can fold up into a storm mode or be completely removable. We're gonna fold it up into a vertical position. That should really protect it should we get any hail. All right, so one thing I am thinking here, while this isn't gonna be complicated or take too terribly long, if I have to wind up doing this multiple times a year, I think I'm gonna want a quicker system. So for now, until I can think this through, we're just gonna screw everything in. But I'm thinking about putting a lip on the bottom run, say something that comes up here, so when I put my board in, I don't have to hold it. It'll come down and catch. And then I'm thinking about maybe, I might build something out of steel. A big lip that comes up and stays above the paneling like this, leaving me just enough room to slide panels in. Do the same thing up top, and then what I'm thinking is I no longer have to screw up top. I can just slide a board in, slide it down the middle, slide another board in, quick out, but I'm gonna need it to be really rigid and out of steel, so as this is flopping around there, it doesn't give me a problem. Then probably what I'll do is just screw in the middle to keep things nice and solid. I would really probably only need, say, 3 to 4 screws per piece. Now, you know how life goes. As soon as I go through and build all that and bolt it on, I really like the idea of that though. Man, that'd be nice and quick. But as soon as I do that, we'll never get another hurricane or major storm, which I guess that's a good thing too, huh? I'm gonna play around with that design in my head to where I only have to shoot a few screws in the middle, and I can just track these boards in and track them right back out And I want to build me some kind of storage container underneath this for all these boards. Yeah, I got a lot of ideas I'm kicking around right now, but we got a storm on the way. I just got another update from our local sheriff's department and weather service. We're literally within about 16 hours of the storm rolling in, so I don't have time to be building nothing else, getting creative. Oh yeah, that's good Lord. That's definitely hail protection, is it not? Probably just have to lay a ladder up here and go up to the top to screw in. Or ladder on the other side of the fence. I'll figure it out later. All right, storm mode is activated. Now I'll admit, while that wasn't horrible, that took too long, way too many screws. I am definitely now convinced that I'm gonna build the rail and slide system that I was just telling y'all about. I need to better put these up quickly. While we got plenty of notice for this storm and we get plenty of notice for hurricanes and things such as that, there's gonna be times that we're gonna get last minute notifications of a fast track storm coming your way with hail or a tornado or whatever. And if I have time, I'd love to be able to come out here and say 15 minutes or less and be able to put all this up. It's possible. I'm gonna work on a design in my head. We're gonna have that coming up. So it seems like we can never catch a break. These storms always come at nighttime, like all of our hurricanes, our big tornado outbreaks. I don't know what it is. So we're projected to get early morning hours before daylight, the potential start, so close this door, of this storm system coming through. So luckily I have a transfer switch in here in my shop, and one of the things on this transfer switch, I can either flip it to grid, my main solar system, or whatever I plug into this, which is going to be my EcoFlow Delta Pro power station here. Well, I can just flip a single switch. So here's usually the way this happens. We get warnings, they're calling for lots of tornado warnings in the storm. So middle of the night, we'll start watching, we'll usually stay up, or we'll set alarms on our phone. And whenever you get that take shelter now warning, you don't have long to run outside and get to the storm shelter. Well, I don't want to come out here to the shop and be flipping switches or putting the storm shelter on battery power. I'm not currently running on my solar system because we just covered up all the panels and put them up. I've got all my batteries charged, so tomorrow, assuming we don't have power, we're just gonna come out here and flip this on, or tonight if we lose power, and we'll run off straight battery power. Then we'll uncover our solar panels. I know that was a mouthful. But because we're gonna be tearing off to the storm shelter tonight, I don't know how long we'll be in it, and we're most likely going to lose grid power, I'm going to go ahead and set the storm shelter and storm shelter only up to the Delta Pro system that I have here. So in the event that we lose grid power, we'll never know it. And I'm also, just to cover myself in case something happens to this unit between here and the storm shelter, we lose power, I always put a portable power station in the storm shelter. All right, so let's plug this system up right here. This has got a ton, I've got an extra battery on this too, so I've got a ton of power here to run the storm shelter realistically probably for a few days. We're not going to be in there that long. So let's go ahead and get everything booted up. Make sure we're fully charged, which we are. Kick on our AC. And then all I got to do is come over here. B is labeled storm shelter. Flip this up to generator. And now everything out the storm shelter, from the AC to the lights to the TVs to security, just everything we have internet, it'll run off of this. All right, so here's our storm shelter. We've had it open and ventilating out all day long. Tiffany's already checked the supplies. Typically for tornado outbreaks and storms like this, we're not in here long, but we could potentially be in here a couple hours. It's the hurricanes that we may stay overnight. Now, if we wake up tonight and it's just looking like we're gonna have to run out here some 2 or 3 a.m. where it's annoying, we actually have a futon in here and we probably may just come out here and sleep. All right, so here's the storm shelter. A lot of y'all have seen this. Hand built this myself. This is all solid walls, extremely robust, all laminated. You should check it out. And a big heavy duty steel door. It's really set up for impacts. Big heavy duty locks and clasps. So, because we spend extended time out here, especially with hurricanes, so we've got an AC. Let's make sure everything works like it should. Would probably help if I plugged it in. All right, let's see. All right, it's kicking on. That lets us know we're getting power from that EcoFlow unit in the shop. We keep a weather radio out here. We keep a GMRS radio for communication reasons. We have forced ventilation in here on a timer, so it pulls air in from these vents and keeps the room oxygenated. That's extremely important, y'all. This is why I go through so much trouble to back up our power here. For starters, we want power out here for AC, be comfortable. We want to run our TV. By the way, TV's hooked up to an outside security camera so we can watch what's going on. We can get news updates. Assuming our fiber internet doesn't go down, I have got a Wi-Fi extender out here, a mesh system that communicates back to the house so we can actually have internet out here. Again, checking updates, checking on other people. Lights, amongst other things. So the power is very important to us, but the oxygen, the ventilation, and making sure the oxygen doesn't get too low in the room, that is a huge safety reason, and we've got to have backup power. Now, should something happen to my Delta Pro 3 unit in the shop, you know, say it trips out for some reason or just something happens and we lose power out here, well, we're not tied to the grid, so it's highly unlikely that's going to happen. That's why I like running on battery power right before I know we're going into storms, but I keep another one out here. We show this stuff on the channel, y'all, but we really do use it all the time. I've got my smaller EcoFlow unit right here. This is my Delta 3 Plus, and it's got plenty of power in it and plenty of hookups up front right here to charge phones. It'll even run my window unit. It'll keep the TV going, anything like that. So as I always say on the channel, backups for our backups. So we're good. We got a little commode out here. We got stuff for dogs. We got dog bowls. We got water. Again, we shouldn't be out here long, but just in case we are, for whatever reason, we try to stay very, very prepared. I can't believe how windy it is already getting. They're talking for potentially 50-mile-an-hour winds before the storm gets here. And I'm seeing warnings for 75-mile-an-hour plus during the storm. You're talking getting into hurricane force stuff. Sadly, that's why I'm expecting the grid to go down. Most likely, we're gonna have a lot of trees and tree limbs go down on the power lines and probably gonna damage our internet and fiber lines, which means I better go to our other property, which is flooded, by the way, from the last storm. The rivers are swollen, but I better go get my Starlink satellite dish in case we need to have internet over here, satellite internet. All right, and then one of the last things we're gonna check, this is our home backup power station, our EcoFlow Delta Pro Ultra right here. As you can see, yes, we're definitely stocked out with the EcoFlow stuff. I love the stuff, y'all. We have had to rely on this so many times for power outages. Not only do we do the reviews on the channels, and yes, they sponsor us. They don't even know I'm making this video, by the way. The stuff has saved us so many times, I started believing in it, so I talk about it. So we've got 3 massive batteries on this. This will easily run the house, central AC, water pump, everything all night long. And if we baby it, oh, we could run for a full 24 hours. That's before we hook up to solar, which I now have run into the house, our solar panels. So what you just seen me cover up, I can run into here or out into the shop. I like to go ahead and hook up all cables, so when I run in here in the dark, after we lose power, all I've got to do is just flip a couple things on. Actually, what I'll do with this system right here, we'll swap over to this before we ever run out to the storm shelter tonight. That way our internet stays going and everything's good, and we can have communication back from the storm shelter, because chances are we're going to lose grid power. So we might as well kick this house on over on this before we run out there. And thanks to a lot of viewer suggestions, another thing I'm going to do right here is unplug our Ethernet cable that's going out to the shop, because this apparently attracts a lot of lightning, which we're going to get tonight. I don't want to fry no equipment. Speaking of, I took y'all's suggestion and I just put in 2 Ethernet surge arresters. So apparently Ethernet cables are really bad about attracting, you know, lightning strikes, actually not attracting it, I should say. But when there's a lightning strike or a EMP impact in the area, supposedly all the copper and those lines can pick it up and send it into your equipment. So just the other day I did it off camera. I wired in a surge arrestor at the shop and one inside here to where it dumps straight to ground should any surge come down that Ethernet cable. So thank y'all for suggesting that. All right, so here it is next morning. The storm just blew through a little while ago, come through about daylight. And I'm happy to report pretty much all we had was some wind, a lot of lightning, a little bit of rain, which we absolutely did not need because literally our river property is flooded underwater, and these rivers are swollen out of the banks. But happy to also report that we didn't get nearly as much rain as predicted. At one point in time, they were talking inches, plural. We wound up getting 3/4 of an inch, so super thankful for that. Also thankful, no reported tornadoes in our area. I've been up since about 4 a.m. watching it, only seen just 1 or 2 tornado warnings, and they were quite a ways away from us. No known hail, so that's good. So we could have been a whole lot worse than what happened. I'm looking around out there too, and I only see just a couple broken limbs. And my weather station reported winds about half of what our emergency department sheriff's office was calling for. So we turned out really, really good. So this storm was definitely overhyped for us. It didn't wind up being near as much predicted, and that's okay. That's a good thing. As it got closer and closer to us, it just kind of petered out, and we just had a kind of a nasty tail whip through here. Now, with that said, I know a lot of y'all, we seen the weather reports yesterday, a lot of y'all dealt with tons of tornadoes and major weather out to our west. We certainly hope y'all are doing well. And I'm not the least bit upset that I went through all the trouble preparing for something that was supposed to be a lot worse than it was. I'd much rather prepare and it not show up than be underprepared, come out here this morning and all my emergency and backup power's damaged from hail, stuff blown around, other stuff damaged, or tornado reports in the middle of the night and we weren't prepared to make it to the storm shelter. So this was a blessing right here that it wound up just really weakening down before it got to us. All right, y'all. A lot of y'all asked about this. We did very well through the storm. Couldn't be any happier with the outcome of it. I certainly hope a lot of y'all made it through okay. There was some nasty weather in it, definitely. And I apologize that all I brought y'all is a couple storm videos this past week. This was not my plan. I was gonna make some better content and go do some work at the river property and build some things, but Mother Nature had other plans for us. So y'all are a big part of our life. We thought we would record it and bring you along. This is what we've been doing, playing with floods and storms and just getting prepared. And the season's just starting. Catch y'all on the flip side.